It's an aircraft with an history, and if you know me, you know that I like aircraft with an history. So let's get going and see what this model has to offer. With that, hello and welcome to a new episode of Review, where today we'll take a closer look at a McDonnell MD-11ER of TAM Airlines. At the front of the box we have the cutout, so we can get a glimpse of the aircraft model inside, underneath which we find the TAM Airlines branding. Then on the back side of the box we have a lovely image of the aircraft in real life. We can see it is a Herpa Wings Club model. We have the original dimensions of the aircraft and some additional information. So that's it for the box. Let's take a closer look inside and at the aircraft model itself. But before we get too far into today's review, it is worth mentioning that this aircraft model does come with a piece of cardboard with an apron position printed on. And here she is, the McDonnell MD-11ER in the standard livery from TAM Airlines, used by the airline between 2005 to 2008. The aircraft type itself was also very short-lived with the airline, as it was introduced into the fleet in 2007 and left the fleet in 2008. This aircraft, alongside with two other standard MD-11s, entered the fleet from the former Brazilian aviation crown jewel known as Varig that had collapsed in 2006. But now let us take a closer look at this Herpa Wings Club model that was produced by Herpa Wings in 2009 to see what it has to offer. And we start off with the tail section, where we on the vertical stabilizer have the TAM branding, above which we find the last two letters of the registration code. The full registration code we then find on the fuselage. We also have the Brazilian flag, the aircraft type specification, and the Brazilian company slogan, which translates to "proud to be Brazilian." Then at the front of the aircraft, and rather prominently displayed across the fuselage, we again have the writing of TAM. Underneath that we have some more small printed details, very lovely, but unfortunately I don't know the aircraft type well enough to say what that exactly is, but it looks nice. We then of course also have the English company slogan, which is the magic red carpet. The cockpit section itself I think looks decent. Here we have the cockpit windows with the window wipers, and above the cockpit windows we then also have the last two letters of the registration code. The red color of the TAM branding can be found on the engine nacelles, where we also have the silver leading edge and a green and yellow line, which of course is coming or inspired by the Brazilian flag. The physical detailing of the engines overall I think is actually rather nice. I think Herpa has done a decent job here, especially when we look into the engines from the front, where we very nicely can see the engine fan blades. But the MD-11 of course has a third engine which is integrated into the vertical stabilizer, and overall I think Herpa has done a decent job with it, although if we look from the backside I think that could perhaps look a little bit better. But when we look from the front we can very nicely see the silver leading edge and also here the engine fan blades. On the fuselage, just above the wings, we have the emergency exit printed on, which leads us straight to the wings, which we should also take a closer look at. Starting off with the top side, we can see across the wings we have the full registration code printed on, as well as the different flap slats and spoilers carved out rather nicely, and also some different shades of grey for additional detailing. The full registration code repeats itself also here across both wings on the underside, and also here I think the physical detailing is actually rather nice. My personal highlight are however the winglets, which I think Herpa has done a really awesome job with in replicating, and even on the inner side we find the English company slogan printed on once more. And then we have the landing gear, and also here I think Herpa has done a very nice job with it. The main landing gear underneath the wings looks nice, and of course with the extra pair of wheels in the center reminds us a little bit of the A340. But also the front landing gear looks very nice in my opinion. Here Herpa has also added the last two letters of the registration code. It's a simple little printed detail. Of course it is because it is a Wings Club model, but they have added it, and that is nice. And then last but not least, we do also have the doors to the cargo compartments printed on here in the back side of the aircraft and here at the front of the aircraft. So there we have it, the McDonnell MD-11ER in the standard livery of TAM Airlines from 2005 to 2008 from Herpa Wings in scale 1 to 500. And what can we say about this aircraft model? Well, I guess I kind of said it already in the very beginning of the video. I'm a sucker for aircraft model with an history, and for me this is one of the prime examples of an aircraft model with an history, even though it is extremely short-lived in real life, and therefore you could say, why even bother to make a model of it? At least Herpa would definitely say that today, but back in 2009 they said, hey, why not make a model of an aircraft that only flew around like this for 1 year and actually do a pretty decent job of it. Of course, if we look at the model in 2021, we could say there are definitely areas where we could have even more details, but for a model from 2009, this is actually pretty good. And if you have an interest in South American aviation history, then I would say yes, this aircraft is definitely something for your collection. Now with that, we have reached the end of today's episode. If you have enjoyed this video, then don't forget to leave a like, that would be very much appreciated. And of course, if you are new around here, why not hit subscribe? That would be absolutely awesome. With that, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.